Hello there, collective. Spirit is wanting you to challenge yourself, asking yourself, are you creating or are you just absorbing or passively consuming when it comes to your path, your purpose, your goals, what you actually want? The contrast between healing and absorbing and being in this magician energy. Because Temperance and Four of Swords are cards of being balanced and at peace. But when I asked Spirit what was keeping you stuck, Temperance came out, which leads me to believe there's something that's a little too calm and peaceful in your life at this time. Sometimes we use our healing as a way to spiritually bypass really moving into a more creative spirit. Four of Swords is great when you do need to take a break, retreat, rebalance, recenter your energy, but it can also lead to a state of apathy, especially after periods of loss or feeling rejected, feeling like things aren't working for you. It can really be tempting to fall into this, well, you just want to keep your peace. You don't want to stir things up. And there's a time for this. And then there's a time to really confront the issue of stagnancy and being trapped, right? And it may seem really counterintuitive on a spiritual level because, sometimes spirituality tells you to always be centered, always be balanced. And those are good things. But then when you're stuck in trying to stay too balanced and too peaceful, too safe, too healed to rock the boat, this does not always serve you creatively when it comes to manifesting. Because manifesting is about taking aligned action. And you do need to be in temperance energy. You do have to be balanced and aligned in order to create. But the whole point of temperance energy is not to stay in healing mode forever. Your unique creative edge and aligned destiny is speaking your truth, right? Not hiding in the shadows, speaking your truth. Revealing that, exposing it, right? Being determined, creating conversation, possibly even, controversy or confrontation when it comes to who you are, not feeling like you have to surrender or constantly be a martyr to your truth and your shadow, but channeling that energy. You're not meant to fear those the shadowy aspects of yourself. It's breaking out of that bondage of feeling like you have to wait until you're healed or perfect enough. Some of you could be overly stuck wanting to be perfect. And there comes a point in your healing journey where it's like, you're never going to be perfect, right? Because perfect can get a little boring. It's fine to want to be zen, want to be healthy, wanting to be balanced, wanting to play it safe. I'm getting that some of you need this message, this urge to not feel like you have to be perfect or always play it safe. It's keeping you in this state of sacrificing your voice, like what you really have to say, and what you know to be true. And the truth is you're a divine being. You're a divine being, a creative being, and this is your moment to shine your truth, because collective, there's art and power in imperfection. Many years ago, I read this book. I got this little book in like a discount bin, and it was all about the art of imperfection. Spirituality isn't about being perfect. It's messy. It's about doing shadow work and healing and integrating and all of that. You know, we're here to do alchemy, but at a certain point, you're not going to be content with that. Eventually, that's not going to be enough for those creative souls, the creative spirit in you. It's just not going to be enough. So you don't want to just absorb and alchemize energy. You want to act. You want to create. Part of alchemy is like being balanced between both. Temperance, that's an important lesson of temperance. It's not about quenching your fire. Like Four of Cups can sometimes be to me like quenching your fire, quenching your passions and desires. But then you actually get stuck. You get blocked. You get too closed off. And then you're not really tapping into this true magic of the magician and the star, your sense of purpose. You know, you're not challenging yourself. Some of you need a little bit of challenge, some debate, some action. Queen of Swords and Knight of Swords are people that they talk about things, they discuss things, they shift their perspective, they get new information. Some of you need some new information, but you're not going to get that new information or experience by staying Four of Swords, Eight of Swords, Four of Cups in that comfort zone. And yeah, I'm really sensing that Spirit wants you to challenge yourself. Yeah, Moon, your intuition, fantasy, affection, recognition, invitation, divine feminine. Yes, some of you are vibrating really strong divine feminine, receptive energy. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? You want to be able to receive. You know, that's magnetic. But sometimes you can get caught in the fantasy and romance of trying to vibrate on divine feminine energy and not integrating it into something useful for your life and your purpose. The fantasy would be that the masculine is supposed to complete you in some way from outside of you. That's some of the danger I see with divine feminine receptivity, you know, that whole messaging. There's nothing wrong with magnetizing and getting into balance, you know, balancing your masculine and feminine, but sometimes it can, you know, create too much passivity with the Four of Swords. Like you're so focused on your healing and your balance, you go dark a little bit, because the Moon is all about, you know, illumination, breaking out of the shadow. So there's definitely something about that magnetic pull maybe not working for you anymore when it comes to something about your purpose. Maybe in your relationships, it makes more sense than like in your life in general. Because where are you fearing? You're fearing this challenge. It's like you don't want to come off as masculine by creating or debating or speaking your truth in some way. And I'm not getting this like I said, this is not necessarily from a relationship point of view. This is like just being out in the world and really feeling like you have a truth, a purpose. You could actually end up limiting yourself in some ways. So yeah, the Princess of Earth, the Hermit, being in hermit mode, analytical, hardworking, intelligent, conscientious, helpful, critical, picky, exacting, and responsible. Yeah, you're trying to be too responsible, too practical. Hermit, it's like you're very self-aware and you're wise, but it's not serving a purpose to silence yourself anymore. That wisdom is meant to be shared in a thoughtful and discerning way, right? You're meant to tell your story. You're meant to be seen. It's like you're conscientious. It's like you're almost being too hard on yourself. Virgo energy can be very self-critical, like a perfectionist. And it's like, it's okay to kind of put your foot in your mouth sometimes. I'm getting Sagittarian, Jupiter. It's like, it's okay to create healthy discourse with that Queen of Swords and that Knight of Swords. It's okay to have somebody challenge you a little bit, change your perspective. You're never going to really challenge yourself and change your perspective in your comfort zone or being dark or hidden. You're meant to shine, collective. You're meant to shine. You're meant to be vulnerable. So it does feel a little counterintuitive to the divine feminine, always receptive, always magnetic, always quiet, never taking action. But you know, divine feminine, you're meant to be an illuminator. You know, goddess energy, goddesses are bold, they're creative, they're not always just passive and in the shadows. So I do think sometimes that messaging can work against us sometimes when it comes to our creative power. The unique creative edge here is you're meant to be bold. You're meant to stand tall. It's okay to stand out, not downplay. Because I feel like that can become a trap, wanting to do everything right. You know, government, institutions, hierarchy. It's like you're wanting to do it like too black and white. It's too rigid. The Tower and the Lenormand sometimes comes off as a little bit like the Hierophant, like following everything the supposed right way or following the rules. I've been getting a lot of this energy about being a rule breaker, you know, shaking things up a bit. Not always, because that becomes a trap, right? When you're always following everybody else's rules, you end up getting very despondent or apathetic. Nothing really charges you up anymore. You go home, you know, you go to work, you come home, you just go about your little ritual and routine, you go to bed, you do your healing work, but there's nothing there to really challenge you anymore, right? Yes, sun energy, power, fulfilled, success, divine masculine, but I'm getting more like, instead of waiting for the masculine, you need to pull in that energy. That's what true alchemy is. Not like, I mean, yes, some of the dynamics can work in the relationship as far as not, you know, allowing the masculine to lead, but some of that's very patriarchal thinking, and it's damaging when it comes to other areas of your life, like not wanting to outshine the masculine, only wanting to be a mirror or a reflection of that. Because it's like it kind of makes you passive or sacrificing yourself to those rules. I'm getting that some of you are sacrificing yourself to the rules, and how you can take more initiative out of that hanged man. You, like many of you have done, most of you that have resonated with this, you've done that healing work. You've integrated the feminine. You've kind of integrated that but then you kind of swing to some extremes, right? The infinity symbol's about being in constant energetic motion. That's what the magician teaches us. Yeah, that hangman raccoon. You're a problem solver. You're asking questions. You're creative. You're meant to be an entrepreneur. Some of you want to create a business. You're very clever. You're a little mischievous. You're not perfect. You're not like this perfect little feminine statue or masculine statue. Some of you are masculines dealing with this. You've integrated feminine energy, but then there's a sense of, wait a second. It's creating a little bit, the rules kind of just feel stagnating sometimes. The bold action, of course, is the magician. Creating, even if it means painting, drawing, singing, there's some sort of creative element that you're needing to bring in here. Yeah, boss. You can't be a boss or an entrepreneur playing it safe or never speaking your truth or challenging yourself or presenting your ideas. Some of you need to present your ideas. Mama bear, protective, finance, muscular, affiliate. Yeah, you're needing to integrate like a healthy energy of, you can be protective, you can be the boss babe or boss, but still be soft, needing to be both. Not so soft or divine feminine to where you can't call somebody out. You're intelligent. You have a mind of your own. Many of you are educated, but you're overly critical. Some of you overthink what you're saying. Yeah, you're going through a major transformation, a death, rebirth. Yes, there's a time for healing, but there's also a time for rebirth and awakening, rising up from the ashes. Right here, you might still feel like you're in the ashes of your healing journey, your growth, but you're meant to go through a total transformation and renewal. There's something that you're meant to be doing beyond healing. You're meant to be growing. Yeah, you're meant to be inspiring people. Yeah, there's a creative spark here that maybe you've been downplaying or feeling this urgency to explore and express. And it doesn't mean sacrificing balance and femininity and magnetism, but it also means it's like you're going somewhere with it. You're getting somewhere with it, collective. So, key holder, you stand before a door unseen by most, a key resting in your palm. The choice is yours. Step forward, unlock the mystery, and claim the knowledge waiting beyond. There's more knowledge. There's more information here. I'm getting that strongly with the King of or Queen of Swords and the Knight of Swords. It's like there's something there. There's something waiting beyond the silence. Gatekeeper, not all doors should be open. Trust your discernment and guard what is sacred. Yes, some of you have been guarding your truth a little too much. There's nothing wrong with unlocking it and expressing it or utilizing it in some way. What else, Spirit? The gatekeeper and the key. I'm getting kind of like the Ghostbusters. I'm the gatekeeper, I'm the key. Or yeah, there's something about that masculine and feminine energy playing out here, being both the gatekeeper and the key. Because you can be the gate, the receptive force of the feminine, but you could also be that key holder. You're integrating both. You're meant to integrate both. That's how you become a fully well-rounded, integrated being. That's true power. the midnight spiral. We have, you say you'll go to sleep soon, but the hours slip through your fingers like sand. The quiet of the night becomes a trap. Yeah, the night. Something about the night is becoming a trap. Like the night, the dark, like being in the dark, being unseen. One more episode, one more scroll. Some of you are spending a lot of time, passively absorbing other people's creations. You're not actively doing your own, right? It's like being on your phone at night. Episode scrolling. One more thought you can't control. You know the cycle and you know the cost. What are you anxiously avoiding in the daylight? Yeah, the daylight, the sun, right? That power energy. Find trust in the surrender and faith that it's working out for your highest good. So there's you need to get out of this passivity or just passively absorbing whatever everybody else is doing. That's healing that's no longer serving you. Ritual and motion. Let movement be a practice of exploration and authenticity. Strength, stretch, sway, shake, stomp, whatever you crave. The body holds what the mind avoids, so let it lead the way. Explore to find the places where sensation sparks and movement feels like release, not forced or performative. Yeah, not performing a passive role. Some of you may have even been performing that a little bit, and it didn't, or it's no longer feeling true. Let your gestures be guttural, primal even, and your breath be the metronome. Movement is the prayer. Effort is the offering. Some of you need to move your body. That's going to be part of this activation. Yeah, it's like that's going to balance out some of the rest and healing that you've been doing. It's like needing to balance it out with some more active energy, with movement, mentally challenging yourself. Yeah, we have Mars here. Yeah, you're breaking down that institution. Upheaval, raw energy, instinct, survival, action, self-assertion, chaos. But this Mars, I'm seeing this as good Mars energy, like shaking you awake. I just want to encourage you guys that it's okay to be soft and receptive and magnetic, but it's also really good. Don't lose your fire. Don't lose that masculine within you, and you don't have to seek it externally. It's inside of you. So we'll wrap it up here. Please like, share, and subscribe, and go for it. Go for it. Bye.